Well, this is affecting the quality of my health care. Has anything been discussed or talked about to address that issue?
Well, I was just meeting with the Lane County Medical Society before I came here, and they were talking about the huge dearth of primary care providers in this area. And they pointed to a number of issues. It has to do with the cost of medical school. It has to do with residency. The lack of residencies in primary care. They don't have residencies in primary care. That has to do with tort reform. I mean, they listed about 5 different things, a number of which I'm working on. But they pointed out that the age of the average GP they think is 55 or 57 in Lane County, which means the problem's about to get worse, especially if we can't bring in young people. This is a very big problem. One thing that we used to have went away. It's in the VA bill. I talked about forgiving student debt or medical school debt. Well, until recently, when the Democrats were in charge in 2007 or 8, when the banks were very weak, we threw the banks out of the student loan business because the federal government was subsidizing banks to make loans that the banks, if the loan went bad, the bank just gave it back and they got 100%. So they were charging high interest, no flexibility, and we were subsidizing them. We threw them out and said, we'll do direct loans, lower interest rate, great flexibility, including for people who are nurses or doctors. If they go into a needed specialty or an underserved area, it wasn't as generous as the VA bill, but they could work down their medical debt at 10% a year. Well, in one of these bad budget deals, which I voted against, that was all done away with for graduate students. There's a lot of aspects to this. I mean, if you graduate with $400,000 of debt from medical school, you're not going to want to be a GP in some little office in Eugene. You can't afford to do that. You're going to end up, if you want to be GP, you'll be a hospitalist at Emmanuel, or maybe at Sacred Heart. I don't think they pay that high, but anyway. So there's a lot of issues revolving around that. But I also, the Medical Society and Nancy Pierce on my staff, who's here somewhere, right behind you, we have helped some individuals find physicians who would still take new Medicare patients.